So this one is completely heartless. This is one of these WNBA things that are completely, like heartless is the only way I can describe it. It is basically what happened to Holly Winterburn. So Holly Winterburn is a player that I have personally been following for a decade. A decade. Holly Winterburn was someone that I first kind of came on my radar in 2017. She came over for Team GB, or was it England? Were they England or were they Britain? I can't even remember. But she played in the European Championships when they were on in Ireland, the under 18s in 2017. Britain, I think, finished third. Basically, it was there was a Germany team with Niara Sabli on it that dominated the tournament. Ireland, led by Claire Amelia and Dana Finn, were second, and I think Holly Winterburn's GB team were third. And she was All-Star 5. Then 2 years later, it was the under-20s European Championships, and Ireland win the third and fourth place playoff. Again, being led by Dana Finn and Claire Amelia. And Holly Winterburn was the top player for Britain. Ireland won that game, finishing third and getting promoted to A. But Holly Winterburn then went on to join the Oregon team. The Oregon team that was supposed to win it all, with Niara Sabli, Satu Sabli, Sabrina Ionescu, Holly herself, Sedona Prince. That were supposed to win it all in 2020. Like they were, if there was an NCAA tournament in 2020, Oregon were probably going to win it. But yeah, it was a very kind of interesting one. But Holly Winterburn was signed. She made the Atlanta Dream roster. She was on the official roster for day one. And as she is getting off the bus, as she was getting on the bus for her first ever game, like this is like 3 hours before tip off of her first ever WNBA game. And by the way, if you guys don't know again the full story, Holly Winterburn, after going to Oregon, it kind of didn't work out at Oregon. She left. She went back to England and had to claw her way back up to eventually playing in England, which is not the highest level of domestic league. But then London Lions obviously got a bit of money when 777 were putting some money into it. And they put together a team with herself, Carly Samuelson, Megan Gustafson, and Temi. So they put together that team and they won Eurocup. And she was probably a major reason why they won Eurocup. Then nobody signed her for the 2024 season. But coming into 2025, the Atlanta Dream signed her. So she was about to make her WNBA debut in 2025. And then she picks up an injury in training camp, or right before training camp, and is out for the season. So she misses what would have been her first WNBA season. Then she comes in late enough to training camp, fights her way, earns a spot on the roster. And then as she is getting on the bus for her first game, 3 hours before tip-off, they waive her. She is on the official roster because Aaliyah and I became available. So they cut her. And this is one of these scary things where it's like, I thought my welcome to the W moment would happen on the court. Not as I'm getting on the bus for my first ever game, but it's the reality of the business. I'll always be grateful for the opportunity Atlanta gave me. I'm built for this. Thank you to everyone who's checked in and sent love. Everything happens for a reason. And madness. So we're not going to use our developmental spots. We're just not using dev spots. The reality is, like, if she wanted to sign a dev spot with Atlanta, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but if she wanted to sign a dev spot with Atlanta, she could. But yeah, it was just crazy they had to cut her. Because if you want to take Aaliyah and I off, if you want to take Aaliyah and I off waivers, you have to pay her current contract, which is a steal of a contract. But like waiving her, she's getting on the bus is crazy. Between this and how Golden State treated Judy Vanloo, there's better ways to do release and waves. It's a business, game is game, but man, some of these situations are Silicon Valley tech company level brutal. This is not as bad as the Judy Vanloo situation. This is not as bad. Like she missed her celebrations for her national team so that they could waive her. And like they didn't have a game, so it's not like they waived her and called somebody up immediately. Like if they knew they were going to waive her, they could have called her and said, "Look, we're waiving you." And people were like, "Oh, she had to be in the country." They could have very easily called her agent and said, "Look, we're going to waive her, but tell her to celebrate and come tomorrow. Come over tomorrow or when she feels like it. We're going to waive her and we'll do it when she's here so that she can be easier to get somewhere else, but tell her to not come back today and enjoy her celebrations." They could have done it so much better way. I think this one's a little bit different because they basically had to cut somebody to sign Leah Nye, but Claire claim off waivers. There has to have been some way they could have got her to play. There just has to have been. Not gonna lie, my team has failed. Getting on the bus is insane. Getting waived on the way to the game, yeah. Getting waived on the way to her first game is wild. You got 2 dev spots that don't count against cap. Doesn't matter. You have to waive her to use her for a dev spot. Understand need to waive players for your best squad, but as she's getting on the bus for the first game is crazy. And the craziest part about this is I actually don't know if Leonai is better than Holly Winterburn. I mean this. I don't know if she's better. I actually don't know if she's better than Holly. And maybe that's just because I overrate Holly Winterburn. Or I'm underrating Leonai. Like, I think Leonai is fine. Like, I've got nothing. I don't think Leonai is a bad player. But, like, I also think in terms of ability-wise, I don't see her being that different than Holly Winterburn. That's just my opinion. Again, you don't have to agree with my opinion, but it is my opinion that they're both of a similar level player. They're both a similar level of player. Again, that being said, there is some positive news. There is some positive news here. She is officially now signed on a dev deal with a team that you want to sign a dev deal with, the Portland Fire. The Portland Fire have already put their current dev contract player in the rotation in Friday Booner. And the expectation is that Friday Booner is going to play the 12 games and they're going to sign her. That is the expectation. And if it comes down to it, they're going to cut someone and sign her. Like, she is absolutely in the rotation. And, like, you're looking at Holly Winterburn, who is, look, not that much worse of a player than Sarah Ashley Barker. She's just not. But you're looking here, obviously, Sarah Williams didn't make the roster, didn't play. So you got 1, 2. So they have 11 players here. They have a couple of players that injured. Obviously, what's her name? Yana Martin's not coming over. And yeah, it's a pretty big one, but like, I think she's like she could break into the rotation there, and I think she's in a perfect spot because they're trying to play on the margins. They're trying to win. They're trying to not win games, but try to find the right players. Like, for example, they brought in Carla Late, and I think they were onto something with Bridget Carlton. I guess there's a lot of players that I kind of like on this team. I don't like this team, but there's a lot of players that I like on this team. And her coming in as a dev player for the Portland Fire means that she's going to play at least she's going to play in the WNBA this year. It's as simple as that. She is going to play in the WNBA. Whether that be 4 games, whether that be 14 games, whether that be signing a full contract the rest of the season, she'll play at least 1 game in the WNBA. The problem is, the bigger problem is that by cutting her, she would have made $270K this year. She would have made 270 grand, and instead of making 270 grand, she's making $750 a week. But I do see her being in the league for a while. Like, she's 2000 born, so I think she's either 25 or 26. So she's going to be in her prime when the league expands 2 extra teams. And look, this is a serious player. This is a player who, when she finds her spot in the league, is going to be there. So I'm not worried about it long term. It's just a fucking heartless way to go out.